Hello people, it's Budrich. It's a new episode of Let's Linux. I call this one Theming Rofi. And we will continue with our Rofi theming experience. I open up Sublime here. And what we want to do today is... now I have modified this a bit. I should have... whatever. What we want to do is use the values that we have here in our Xresources file, or the resources here, and use that in the Rasi file that is the theme of our Rofi menu. And the advantage of doing this is when we're done here, then we just have to change theme here in Xresources, and the colors of our Rofi will change accordingly. And some of you might know that you can actually customize Rofi directly in Xresources, but that if you do so, you can only do it to the default theme, a theme that you don't have much control over, and you can't have this D menu style that we have. Let's do this first, because I'm sorry. Background. Let's just make it black now. And then we have the PG here. No. Font Inconsolata 16. Okay. We have this shit here also. Sorry. There. This is our Rofi menu now. And we want to use the same colors as we defined in the Xresources. To be able to do this, we have to inject that into this file. But first, let's talk a bit about how this global section here works. You see, you can actually have as many global sections as you want. If I do this and run Rofi, it will not give me any errors. What happens is that it merges these two globals into one section when Rofi reads it, and then it overwrites the values in the first global section with this one if it have the same keys as it does here. So if I would change the background here to magenta, and now it gets the magenta color. So it have two global sections. And this is important to understand, that you can have multiple global sections. And you can actually put the import files. So if we create a new file here in the Rofi folder inside the .config directory, let's call it globals.rasi. And I save. And then to use this file, we have to use the import command in the Rasi theme, and then we enter the name here, globals.rasi, inside quotes with this, and no semicolon. It's important. If I run this now, didn't work. Now this one overwrites this one, and that doesn't really matter, because what I want to show you is this. We don't have to use this this background color. It always sets the background color. But say we name this god damn it. Let's say we name it BG1 instead. Save. If I load Rofi now, looks like this. But here we have BG1, and that's Rofi doesn't really understand that. That's our own name for a key here. We can reference that key by using the @ symbol and then just typing in the name of the key that we want to reference. So now background color will have the value of the BG1 key and be pink. And this is the approach that I want to take. Instead of replacing the colors inside every Xresources file like this, because we will probably end up with a couple of different menus, but then all of those menus can use these import globals, and then we just have to manipulate the values inside the globals. But we don't want a pink menu. No one wants that, or some people might want it, but not me, not today. So let's do this really quick. This will not work for you, it only works for me. Simple syntax, /. This is our Xresources values. I will just copy them in here because, yeah. And we do this, copy these, and then we enter these guys instead here. We can move this one here, then we can do this, and just make a default value here, white. There, now we have created a lot of custom variables here, and none of these are understood by rofi, but we can access them within the theme with the @ like this. And now what I want to do is I want to give this, instead of this stupid white that we have here, I want to use what we have in our Xresources. So I will remove these comments. And we can open Xresources, and Xresources, it just have the, you remember, it gets its value from the variable blue, which is defined in our theme here. For the moment it's gruvbox. So blue, where do we have it here? 45, 85, 88. I don't know if you remember this command, xrdb-query. That brings us a list of all resources in our Xresources. And now we can see here, accent, it doesn't say blue, it says the value of this blue variable here. And this is what we want to inject into the globals .xresources file here. And to do that, we will need to use some scripting magic. So let's create a script, autoscript, and let's call this xres to rasi. Let's see, now I might get a duplicate thing here. We see. No, we got a new script file. Maybe I should show you here. This xrdb query, it just prints out a list. Every line contains one resource and its value, separated by white space. We could do this, we could pipe this output into a command that's called awk. And awk, it's a programming language in its own. I will just type some stuff here and then I will explain what's going on. There. Okay, we pipe the output here of xrdb query, which is this list, and then we pipe that into awk. And awk, it's actually a programming language in its own. This is just a simple little one-line thing here, but you can do really advanced, you can create scripts just like in bash with awk. And what awk does, how it works in its default state is every line is a record, because the record separator in awk is a new line. So it will loop every line here, and then within these slashes here, this is actually a regular expression. So it will match every line for this regular expression, accent, if it finds that word within the line, it will execute what's inside these curly brackets. So you put the action within curly brackets and then the search within slashes like this. And it will print $0, and $0, it's the current record, meaning the current line. So if I run this command, it prints just the line. Instead of this whole list now, it just prints the line where we had the bud style accent defined. But instead of $0, you can also write $1, and then it just prints bud style accent, because $1, it means field number 1 of the current record. And the current record is the record that matches accent. Then it enters this curly brackets function. And the first field is bud style accent, because fields are separated by white space by default in AWK. So if I would write $2, I think you know what's going to happen. It prints just the color of that record. And this is a way to get values from Xresources. So let's copy this, put it here. So this will get us the accent color. We can put this in a variable. Let's call it, we can call it accent. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's confusing that I name everything the same here, but whatever. Like this. And now we have you know, this dollar and then parentheses, and then everything within the parentheses will be executed in a subshell, and the output of that subshell will be contained in this variable accent. And then if I run this script here now, xres to rasi, nothing will happen. It will just put this in our variable. What we want to do now is use this, put this accent color into our accent variable here in our globals rasi file. And to do that, we use another great Unix command called sed, the streamline editor. And it's also a beautiful command. AWK, I think it's my favorite command of all times actually, but sed is also very, very good. And sed here, you can use that for a lot of things. It's quite similar to AWK sometimes. And here, just like AWK, you put slashes, and within the slash a regular expression, something you want to search for. And just like AWK, it will perform this search on every line. C backslash, that's a command in sed that tells it to, if a line or if something matches this search, then replace everything on that line with something here. And file, that is of course the file that we want to perform these actions on. The I flag, that means that we want to operate within the file we are searching in. If you leave out the I flag, then it doesn't replace the text inside the file, but in a buffer that you can use on if you pipe this command further. Follow symlinks, I recommend you just using this flag. You can read more about them and the sed command in the man page, which is, it's not a long man page. AWK, it's a very long but very good man page, but sed, you read that in like 20 minutes. So file, we have to define the file, and the file is, let's call it rasi file. Whatever, you can name this variable whatever you want, you know. And that is in our home folder, config/rofi/globals.rasi. Then we can use this variable here. And we are searching and replacing for this, the accent. There we have it. But we cannot include the color here, because that color can be, we never know what the color is. So I think it's enough with just searching for accent colon. That will only match a declaration of the variable. And we want to replace that. And now we have to put in accent again. I think you can do this in another way, just fetch this search, but whatever. Let's just replace, if you find accent on a line, replace that line with accent, and then instead of this white color, we put in our accent variable, this one that we get from with the AWK and stuff here. And then I think we need to escape the semicolon. Maybe we don't need that, but just to be safe. So now, if I run our xres to RASI, it changes the accent color to our accent color from Xresources within the globals RASI file. All we need to do now is do this for all variables here. I don't know, maybe we should create a little loop that does that. What do you think about that? Since we have the same names everywhere, it's quite convenient, I think, to make a loop. Let's see if we can do that. And there are different ways to do a loop. We can do this. Let's create a variable called list or resources equals, and then we just type in the name of all our resources here: bg1, bg2, fg1, fg2, reddish. The font, we have to do something special with the font, but these guys we can use. And then we create a loop for in, and then we can name this variable r. And here we have our resources. And this is how a for loop works. You put for and then a variable and then a list. And here this is the list, and we don't put quotes around here, and then this list will be separate words, all of these here. And then for every word in this list, we can just do this R. If I put echo R here, it will echo everything in that list, because R is what the current list item. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. If I comment this out and run this, you see it echoes now on each and every line. And we want to use our sed command here. And now, instead of hard coding it like this, we we just put R here instead of accent. But we can't do that here, because here we need to make it this guy. We do this, and instead of calling it X, we call it Xresources get, or Xresources var, we can call it xr var. And then we change this search here for every item in the loop. And then we need to pipe in to give AWK here a variable. And you do that by doing this v for variable, and we can name this variable reso, and reso is equal to R, which is the item in the list, the current item in the loop in the list. And now by doing this -v reso R, then we can use this reso variable within our AWK here. let's see this. Let's try this. You can write it in many different ways, like $1, that's the first field. If $1 contains Xreso, which is $R, which is one of these values, then it prints $2, and that will be put into XR var and X. Yeah, I don't know. Do you get this, or will it even work? I don't even know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see. We have the globals RASI here. If we run this now, 66 milliseconds. It escaped the percentage there. How do I do that so it doesn't put another slash? Let's see if this works. See, I don't use sed that much. AWK, I'm pretty good at that stuff, but you see now it changed all our variables here. And I think actually this was quicker than me copy pasting and making a separate, and we get a cleaner output. But the font, I told you, we have to do that in a different way. So copy this, and then we can name this one font, and this searches for font 1, and this searches for font size 1, and we call that font size, and then we make this. Because remember, no, we don't have that here. Open B menu. Here, font. We need to put both the font and the font size on the same, in the same line here, within quotes. So it's different from all other variables that we use. So that's why we need to do this. Font 1 is equal to font and font size, and then we put escaped quotes like this, like that, and we can actually remove this. Now Xres to RASI. Now we get our fixed sys here. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. So now we just have to put these references to these variables within our B menu here. And we got background color. Actually, I want the foreground for background. I know it's crazy, but why not? And then for text, we use background because I like that inverted. So it's really obvious that you that the menu is visible. Because if we would use the accent color, then it would look like the polybar. Yeah, we can look at that soon. And then the selected item here that have background to BG1 and foreground to FG1. Okay, let's see if this works. Rofi. Double semi there, maybe that was it. Yeah, there it is. And now we have the same colors. We could even, if we wanted to try here, we can just put in accent, and you see now we get the accent color. But in my opinion, it just gets confusing. You don't really, sometimes you miss that you have the menu. I think it's nice. It gets really obvious that the menu is there. But we could have accent here, maybe if we wanted to make it a bit more colorful. like this. Whatever. Or maybe like this might be nice. I don't know. Okay. So now the cool thing here now is that we can just change theme in our Xresources. Let's comment gruvbox out and do that, and then we need to resource this. We made a reloader script, didn't we? And now this will reload all the colors and we will get solarized. Yeah, we got new colors on the bar, on the window decoration. And if we run xres to rofi, we got the solarized colors here. Pretty cool, huh? And we could just enter the xres to rofi in our reloader script. Reloader. And now we can just run gruvbox again here, comment it out, reload, and we got the gruvbox. Pretty cool. I think we make a break there, because now we have themed up and know how to use global colors and import them from Xresources. And I hope you get that this method that we used here to get the Xresources colors with the AWK like this and inserting them with Z. You can use this for any kind of file, you know. So even if a program doesn't support Xresources by default, you can use this method to inject values into the files. In the next video, we will start using creating our own, because now Rofi just shows us applications like this. But you can it's very easy and very cool to create our own menus. And I thought we will make a menu to choose theme, so it will switch themes without us having to go into this file and comment things out. And we can also make a menu for our autoscript. So instead of opening a terminal, writing autoscript, we just hit the hotkey, get a menu, write the name of the script, and it will open it for us. Okay, hope I see you in the next video. I hope you found something useful in this video. Have a good day. I'm Budrich. Bye. Bye.